only thing I could accept people not watching GB News Breakfast for is to be binging The Crown. It has dropped on Netflix this morning. It is Series 6 and it is the final in the series. And we're joined now by the Royal Editor of Tatler, Katie Nicholl, to talk all about it this morning. Welcome.
Hello.
To you.
Thank
You've
you.
seen some of this?
I have. I was up watching some of it last night. I haven't seen all of it. So, interestingly, in this series, they're dropping 4 episodes now.
Okay.
And then they're going to drop 6 more in December. So they're teasing us a little bit because usually it all drops in one go. And they've been very strict, I have to say, with spoilers. We had to sign confidentiality agreements. We've only been allowed to watch a certain amount at a certain time. They're obviously teasing it out and being very careful. They don't want it all splurged across the papers.
You're teasing us so much. We've got a teasing trailer here for everybody else. Let's have a look.
Don't really understand how I ended up here. Dashing around. And losing sight of myself in the process. You know, I think that's been the story of my whole life.
I'm afraid, Your Majesty, interest in the princess's private life is unlikely to die down anytime soon.
The press are on our tails constantly.
All one wants is for that girl to find peace.
Mummy, you okay? I'm okay. It's just... it has all been a bit mad recently.
So, Katie, as I said, I haven't watched it, but I look at that and I think, gosh, it didn't have to end this way, did it?
No, I mean, the thing is, when you start, I don't want to give too much away because I want all of your viewers to enjoy it, but I will just say it does start with a reminder of exactly what's going to happen. You sort of watch this with this tension inside your belly because you know...
that trailer made me tense.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And there is a tension that runs through it because you know what's going to happen. And I think this is a story that we all know so well. And I think in many ways this will probably be the most compelling of all series. Yes, the previous one's been very interesting. They are all beautifully produced. The casting is phenomenal. I mean, Elizabeth Debicki is knockout.
It's unbelievable.
She is knockout as the Princess of Wales. But it is a gripping story, and it seems that none of us, frankly, can get enough of it. I think this will do very, very well. We've yet to see how they handle the actual crash in Paris, but the first couple of episodes are really dedicated to her friendship and then relationship with Dodie, those final days on the Nicholl yacht and the lead up to Saint-Tropez, and also, interestingly, the sort of trajectory of Camilla and Charles's relationship. So at the same time all of this is going on in France, Charles is back at home, throwing a 50th birthday party for Camilla, and of course it's Diana upstaging Camilla and eclipsing her, and you see Charles's real frustration at that. So it takes you right back to that War of the Waleses all over again.
Oh, goodness. And yet lots of the commentary around this centres on the long-running debate about fact versus fiction,
Yes,
and they flirt with artistic licence a little bit this season as well. Yeah, but a lot of Americans particularly will be watching this. I'm not necessarily talking about the Duchess of Sussex, but a lot of Americans will be watching this thinking this is fact.
I think a lot of Americans, and actually as well, I think a lot of young people over here, you know, if you're not of a certain generation where, you know, those front pages and that story is still very fresh in your mind, I think you will go into this watching it and believing it to be a very accurate depiction of what happens. These were real events based on real people, but for example, the engagement between Dodie and Diana in this 6th series is presented as fact. But we don't know if that actually happened. There was always a rumour, it was speculated upon, but we don't know as fact. In The Crown, it's fact. So just watch it, enjoy it, know it's a drama. It still, by the way, doesn't contain a disclaimer at the start of the programme to depict that it is a work
Although the
of fiction.
palace have been involved, haven't they? They've been upset about the fact that there hasn't been this display.
In the past, yes, in the past there has, and I think because it brings it so up to current day. I mean, this is going to be the final series, so I suppose the Duchess of Sussex can breathe a sigh of relief in that respect. But yes, I think that it's not just at the palace. I think, you know, politicians as well, a lot of people just feel that actually it perhaps should have carried that disclaimer just to make it perfectly clear.
And Princess of Wales arrives on our screens for the first time.
She does, yes, Kate, she does. And she's, I mean, when you said Princess of Wales, of
sorry.
course, I'm still thinking of Diana as the Princess of Wales. She's very good. She's very good. And It's going to be very interesting to see how they capture that courtship, of course, capture it played out at St Andrews, how it was kept secret
the
for
fashion show,
all those months, the fashion show moment. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of that.
Me too.
Well, what we're hearing today is Meghan and Harry's Creature on Earth. Omid Scobie is releasing a book, and in it he talks about how Harry was denied seeing the Queen on her deathbed until it was too late.
Yeah, well, it's not that he was denied seeing her on his deathbed. He apparently wasn't able to get hold of anyone. So he didn't really know what was going up in those final hours leading up to the Queen's death. And we know how quickly things took a downward spiral back in September last year. And while the rest of his family were making his way up, he was still waiting to be told what to do. In fact, as we know from his own autobiography, and I think we should probably take it from the horse's mouth if we're going to take it from anyone, Harry said he was contacted by his father. But Omid Scobie says that his brother William apparently, allegedly, and the palace have yet to comment, ignored calls from Harry when he was desperately trying to reach William to see if he could get up to Scotland with his brother.
The plot thickens.
What do you read into the reasons why there was a delay for that, getting him? Was he not important? Was he not considered important? Was the fact if he came, Meghan would come too?
Yes, I think that I don't think it was that he was not considered important. I believe that his father did get in touch with him, told him what was going on and said, you must get a plane to Scotland immediately. I don't know what happened between William and Harry, whether William did ignore those calls. And as I say, we haven't had any comment from the palace. But I think this issue that Harry wanted Meghan there when Kate was staying behind with the children, and it was strictly to be immediate family, was clearly the source of a great deal of friction and probably delayed things, meaning ultimately that Harry got there too late. But he wasn't the only one. William didn't get there until the Queen had passed either.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Anything else royal-wise happening?
Well, Kate was doing her thing yesterday.
Yes, looking resplendent in purple.
Well, Eamon's wearing his tribute suit.
Yes, well done.
Her purple reign. But it was a big moment for her because she sort of trying to go global, I suppose you could say.
Yes, it was a symposium, I suppose a conference, for want of a better word, to really sort of consolidate everything that she's been doing in terms of the early years. And she said something that I think was very powerful, which was, communication, being in touch with our children, addressing these issues at an early age is as important as maths, reading and writing. And I think that's the message in all of this. She sat down with Fern Cotton. She managed to pull in Sir Tony Blair.
What was he doing?
Well, because his Labour campaign had also sort of invested in some of this. Exactly. So he was there, and she's got some big people behind this now. And I think, yes, it is all a drive to this becoming a global campaign, but in the first instance, to making sure it's on our grid here in the UK.
And she did talk about the star of the royal family, Prince Louis.
Yes, she did, and she explained how. And this is what's so lovely because she's always said that actually her work in this area isn't just because she's a mother; it's actually because of her work in addiction, and she sees how often issues in adulthood trace back to childhood. But she did talk about Louis, and of course she knows those are going to be the lovely comments that we end up talking about and that are in the newspapers. But he apparently at school is getting along very well, and feelings are important at their school, and he's got a little colour wheel so he can point out how he's feeling. And, it's not always easy for little children to communicate how they're feeling. And I think this is exactly what Kate wants to see rolled out in other schools, other ways of making sure children are heard.